The Lost Boys is a 1987 coming-of-age horror flick. Sam, played by Haim, and his brother move into a new town. Their mother is single and is trying to get back into dating. Meanwhile, Sam suspects that his brother may be under the influence of a biker gang of vampires. The film is directed by Schumacher and stars Kiefer Sutherland, Alex Winter, and Corey Feldman. Howdy folks, welcome back to Garage Vampire-thon, where every day, for the month of October, we revisit a vampire movie. Today we're talking about The Lost Boys, directed by Joel Schumacher, produced by the late great Richard Donner, actually both late great, rest in peace, Joel Schumacher and Richard Donner. But yeah, these are two really talented individuals, and what I really like about this movie is that they each bring their sensibilities to this film. First of all, I'll preface this by saying that Joel Schumacher is an overhated director. He's actually a really good director, I think anyway. Falling Down, Flatliners, those are really big cult classics. Lost Boys as well, which is what we're talking about right now. I feel like people watched Batman Forever and Batman and Robin and automatically just assume that Joel Schumacher is a hack, just because it's a rendition of Batman that they don't like. Personally, what are my thoughts on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin? It's not a go-to Batman for me, by any means, but I do find some enjoyment in them. They're going for the campy Adam West Batmans. Everyone gets mad at the Bat credit card. Woo, the Bat credit card.
A Bat credit card, you bastards! I'll kill you! I'll kill all of you! All of you!
Guys, that shit is like tame compared to the Adam West Batman. The Adam West Batman had shark repellent bat spray.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray!
I think you guys can fucking tone it down for a Bat credit card. What can I say? I feel like Batman and Robin is one of the most overhated movies of all time. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's terrible either. But I'm not reviewing Batman and Robin, I'm reviewing The Lost Boys. I just felt like I needed to preface my review with that. First of all, even before starting this movie, great fucking title, The Lost Boys. It's mysterious. You see the poster where you have all these bikers on it and they look cool. And it's a reference to the Lost Boys and Peter Pan, who are other characters that can never age, just like the vampires in this movie. And it makes it feel badass. It's like a reinvention of Peter Pan. I love that title. Great title. They don't use it in the film. It's not like at any point they're like, we call ourselves the Lost Boys. But it's just a solid title in my opinion. And that's the recurring theme of this movie. I feel like this movie is not the most original movie out there by any means, but it takes these familiar things from different genres, 80s horror, vampire movies, classic vampire movies that is, and they just reinvent it in a very intelligent way. The movie opens, and it's this punk group of bikers who are vampires, we later find out, but they're terrorizing this poor innocent little boardwalk in this quiet little town.
Come on, she stiffed you.
What does that sound like to you guys? That to me sounds like Nosferatu. The scene where Nosferatu comes into the quiet little town that Hutter lives in. That's the same vibe I got from this movie. These bikers coming in, they're very loud. There's this innocent little area, and these loud bikers just enter and terrorize everything. That's exactly like Nosferatu to me, and every other Dracula for that matter. But that's what I mean, it's just this very clever rendition of classic vampire tropes. Another one is the Van Helsing character in this movie. It's not an old wise man like you got in the 31 Dracula or the 1958 Dracula. Here it's just a bunch of kids who read a lot of comic books.
Take this. I don't like horror comics. You'll like this one, Mr. Phoenix.
They read like horror comic books, kind of like Creepshow, and they learned a lot about vampires, and they're all ready. They have their water guns full of holy water. That's another thing. It's common tropes of the 1980s. The kid who has to take on the threat by himself without the help of the parents. But it's also a trope of vampire movies, and it just fits together like a glove. That's another thing too, how both sensibilities of Joel Schumacher and Richard Donner come into play here. Joel Schumacher made Flatliners, this kind of has that Flatliners vibe, and Richard Donner made The Goonies, and there's definitely a Goonies vibe in here. Some great moments in this movie. One great moment I like is the reveal of Kiefer Sutherland as a vampire. This to me is like a perfect kids movie, because it does feel like a kids movie, but the scares are actually scary. And when you see the vampires for the first time, they have like creepy ass makeup, they kind of look bat-like, and Kiefer Sutherland reveals his face, and it's just like fucking creepy. It comes out of nowhere too. You're like, holy shit. That's an effective jump scare right there.
It's time to join the club.
Hi, Michael.
There's a difference between cheap jump scares and good jump scares. To me, the difference is when a jump scare just relies on the music and a loud noise, that's a cheap jump scare. But when a jump scare relies on an unexpected moment, that to me is a good jump scare. You see it all the time in horror movies where there's just someone opening a door and you're waiting for them to close the door and reveal what's behind the door, and you're just lingering there and you're like, okay, yeah, they're going to try to make me jump. They close the door. Bah! Oh, they made me jump. That's a cheap jump scare. Here, the jump scares, they just come out of nowhere. You're like, holy shit, that's an effective jump scare. The music in here, I can see someone finding it outdated. I think the song they use in this movie, it slaps pretty hard, man.
Your face, I will not lie, little sister. Come to your brother.
Thou shalt not kill. They got a little kid band in there. I thought it really worked in this movie, especially in the flying sequences. It really worked for me. And the payoff of this is fantastic. There's this movie that came... This isn't my first time watching this movie, but I remember when the movie... What was it called? You're Next. I remember when You're Next came out, people were saying that it's Home Alone but horror. And I was thinking... I thought The Lost Boys was kind of like Home Alone with horror. You have Corey Feldman and his friend going around with the water guns with holy water. They fill a bathtub with holy water and push one of the vampires in there. It's just these kids using common household appliances trying to take down these vampires. It worked really well in this movie. That bathtub scene is also pretty gruesome and disgusting. My main complaint with this movie is the ending. It really ends with like a what the fuck were they thinking? There's this reoccurring joke that their grandpa that they live with likes to drink this certain drink, and it just ends with the grandpa coming to save the day. He just says a zinger, and everyone's like, ha ha ha, oh, grandpa, and it just ends.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
People are strange when you're...
It's like they didn't know how to end the movie. But other than that, fantastic fucking movie. Guys, stop hating on Joel Schumacher. He's a competent director. Has he made shit? Yes. The Number 23 is a terrible movie. I think that's his worst movie. I'd watch Batman and Robin any day over that movie. But guys, what did you think of The Lost Boys? Is it a classic, in your opinion? Comment below, let me know. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Garage Vampire-thon.